My name is Lori Niergarter. Welcome to this Qigong class for cancer survivorship. Today we'll be doing quite a bit standing, but I want to make you aware that any of these practices can be done in a chair. So if you want to have a chair nearby, please grab that now. And then just make sure you can extend your arms and legs without bumping into anything. And we'll begin in a comfortable standing position, feet about shoulder width apart. And just begin by noticing your breath. Ideally, your breath is coming in and out through your nose, but breathe however it's most comfortable for you to breathe. And then we'll begin with the wrists. We'll begin by exploring the up and down action of the wrist. How far can you flex? How far can you extend the wrist? And the extension is typically not something we do on a regular basis. So you may have to think about pulling your fingers back towards your forearm, okay? So we're going to begin with flexing the wrist and dragging the back of the wrist upward towards the shoulder height, so from the side, and then extending the wrist, pulling those fingers back towards the forearm as you lower down. Elbows stay relaxed, shoulders stay relaxed, and you can add a little bit of a bend and a slight straightening of the legs. And then once you get the hang of this movement, go ahead and add an inhale on the way up and an exhale on the way down. And just see how that works for you. Maybe your breath is a little faster, or maybe your movement is a little faster. So if the timing doesn't work, then you can let that go. Okay, now the next time we come to that up position, we're going to keep the arms at the height of the shoulders. And now we'll begin to explore the range of motion side to side. And it's very tempting to twist the twist the forearm when you're doing this motion. So see if you can keep the forearm still and you're just side bending the wrist, really. So we'll start as if we're putting our hands over the top of a tall table. Open the elbows and then smooth the hands out to the sides and then bring the hands back in. And as my hands go out, I'm leading with the pinky side of the wrist. And then as my hands come in, I'm leading with the thumb side of the wrist. So I'm side bending, but keeping the palm parallel to the floor. And again, you can connect this with your breath, maybe inhaling and exhaling, or the other way around, that's fine. But keep the movement smooth and just really begin to explore what that feels like to side bend the wrist. Now we're going to put those sets of movements together. And it's as if we are smoothing the sides of a box. So the hands go out and then they come down the sides. And then we smooth the bottom of the box. And then the hands come up the sides. So top, side, bottom, side. And perhaps a full breath for the full square of the box, or perhaps not. Whatever works for you. But continue to observe those four ranges of motion in your wrists. And once you get the hang of it, you can let go of the box and start to round the edges so that it becomes more of a circle. Now be careful because this is where the wrists want to twist. So if you start to lose the sensation in the wrist, go back to squaring the edges. Let's do one more in this direction. And then we'll go the other direction. So start with the box, up the sides, inward, down the sides, find the base. Up, side, down, and bottom. Remember, you're finding first that motion, and then as the hands come in, it's this motion trailing with the thumb, and then that motion becomes really important, and then the bottom trailing with the pinky. Yeah, and then begin to smooth the corners out so that it becomes more circular in its shape. Okay, last one. And then with the hands down, just go ahead and relax the fingers and the wrists and the elbows. And you'll start to notice maybe some increased circulation in your hands. Maybe they're a little bit pinker, or they feel a little fuller, or there's some tingling or some sensation where you perhaps didn't have sensation because of neuropathy. Be aware of that. Now we're going to move on to the elbows. So begin by turning the palms away from you. And it's as if you put little sock puppets on each hand. You're going to bring those sock puppets up towards your shoulders. Yeah. So it's not just the fingertips, but we're also bending the wrists again, just like we did before. And then you'll dive those sock puppets down. At the bottom, you're going to unwind from the shoulder. At the same time, you're extending the fingers away from the shoulder. So unwind shoulder, elbow, wrist, and the fingers are opening and extending. Yeah, so sock puppets in and up, and then extend down and unwind while you reach out. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. If my breath rhythm is too fast, you go at your own. Really feel that combination of untwisting and extending. And it's more than just muscular. It's actually including some of the denser tissues, some of the fascia, the ligaments, the tendons. One more like that. And then we're going to go the other way, and it'll look a lot different. So we start by turning the palms away from the body, thumbs pointed back, and we bring the back of the wrists up. And then the hands turn away from the body again. And once more, you're going to be pulling back the fingers towards the forearm, right? So from here, you're going to push out shoulder, elbow, wrist, and those fingers pull back. And notice that I don't straighten my arms all together. I keep a slight bend in the elbows, but that doesn't mean that I'm kind of relaxed, right? This is very actively pushing out through the palms of the hands. Okay, so let's try that again. Back of the wrist come in and up, and then you push out. Back of the wrist in and up, and then you push shoulder, elbow, wrist. Fingers are pulling back. Back of the wrist pull up, and then shoulder, elbows, wrist, push out. And a few more like that. Inhale and exhale. And then sometimes it feels like I'm pushing out from the center of the chest. So it goes center of the chest, shoulders, elbows, wrists. Inhale, up to the chest. Exhale, chest, shoulder, elbows, wrist. And a few more like that. One more. And then just let the arms rest and observe how that feels. Maybe similar sensation to before, with the fingers kind of pulsing or feeling full, but maybe it extends up the arms a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to move the head. So we'll explore the motions of the head. So let's just turn the head a little bit to the side and then back to center. And to the side. Oh, you might notice it's different from left to right side. And I'm keeping my chin parallel to the floor, so not dipping the head at all. Going side to side, kind of noticing what that motion feels like. And if the sensation changes the more that I do this. Let's do one more to each side. Now continue to look forward and start to bring your ear towards same side shoulder. Notice that this other shoulder wants to come up. So keep the arms kind of heavy and then bring the head back up to center. Same ear towards the other shoulder now. And then come back to center. And do that again, going side to side. Starting to get a little warm here. A glide of your chin forward, outward, and inward. Outward and inward. So without moving the shoulders and the chest, you're just going to bring the chin forward, then pull the chin back. Almost like you've got a backrest in your car that you're pushing up against. That's the back position. And then extending, that's the forward position. Okay, one more like that. And then we're going to put all of these together into neck rolls. Okay, so I want you to take the size of the neck roll that works best for you. Okay, so let's start with chin to chest. And then look towards one side. And then see if you can continue to lift the chin up. And then bring the chin to center, but still lifted to a place that's comfortable for you. And then over to the other side. And then chin drops down to the chest. So we're going to continue that side. Or sorry, we're going to continue that direction. Side and up, other side and down. I realize that if you're doing this with me, you're depending on my voice, not on what I'm doing. And just a few more like that. Just feeling, you might get a little bit of noise. So you might feel some sensation, but you also might hear some things. And we want to stay in the range of motion that is still comfortable. No pain here. And you want to go slow enough so that you don't feel dizzy. Now the next time your chin is at your chest, reverse direction. And again, it might feel very different on this side. Let's do one more this side. And then next time the chin is at the chest, just pause and look up. Okay, now we're going to shift our attention to our hips, and specifically one hip. So it'll be my right hip. It may look like my left hip, but I'm going to be working with my right hip. You can choose whichever hip you want to work with first. So we're going to make hip circles, and I keep the knees bent here, keep the feet flat, and I go as large of a circle as I can make without hurting myself. But my focus and my attention is just on that right hip. I just want to notice what the right hip is doing as I go around. This could be really beneficial if you have some asymmetry in the hips, which a lot of us do. If there's been some injury or surgery or radiation that affects the structure, right? The muscles, scar tissue, the bones. And what you may be noticing is not really that awareness of the whole body, but maybe what you're noticing is that you're not going in a regular circle. There's kind of some catches in that circle. So that's good information to know as well. Okay, now let's reverse. So same leg, same hip, but just the second direction, which feels a little different for me. And be aware of how this hip connects the leg to the spine. Okay, and then come back to center, and we're going to switch to the other hip. Right, so I just put one hand on the hip that I'm focusing on, the other hand just kind of rests. And our hands are pretty magical. They really help to gather our focus and attention at that one spot. So all my focus and my attention is now on my second hip. And even though both hips are going to start to circle, what I'm noticing is how this hip responds. Or in some cases, how it doesn't respond. So your circles may be smaller than mine, or they might be bigger than mine. That's fine. We're looking to feel the range of motion that works for you today. And it may be different tomorrow. That's the beautiful thing about a living body, is it's always changing. Now, one thing that can be very habitual is that when we go around in a circle, sometimes we skip the forward part of the hip, right? We just kind of just bypass that altogether. So see if when you're circling, you can also push the hip a little bit forward and the torso has to go back, otherwise you would fall, right? So hip goes forward, torso goes back, without letting the heel come off the ground. Okay. One more circle in this direction. Okay, and then reverse direction. Still the same hip, same focus. Don't forget to lean a little bit back. Knee stays slightly bent. Weight in the, mostly in the heel, but you'll feel the weight kind of shift a little bit towards the toes of your foot if you're feeling your feet today. This is another place where you may get a few creaks and cracks. We have a lot of ligaments rolling around to support our hips. Okay, just one more. And then come back to center. Just notice how that feels as you stand on your feet with your new hips. Okay, now we're going to come into a stance called standing in the stream. Begin by placing your feet the width of your shoulders as if you were standing on your own shoulders. So you wouldn't be standing out here, you'd put your feet right here. Okay, so stand right on the kind of the inward side of your shoulders. Okay, and then soften your knees, slightly tuck the pelvis, and take a action with your wrist where it's neutral in the wrist, so not bent any of these directions, but there's activity through the fingers, not stiff, but a little bit of activity. And you may need to play with that a little bit, kind of moving the wrist around, and where can the fingers extend without breaking that activity at the wrist. Okay, so that's where the fingers are. Okay, and the hands are a little bit forward of your hips, so they're not directly at the side, they're a little bit forward of the hips. Yeah, shoulders are relaxed, and we're dropping the center of the chest a little bit and lengthening the back of the neck. And standing up in the stream implies that there's water at our fingertips, and we're just feeling the water. Feeling the water as it goes past the fingers. So that's why there is some energy in the water, but it's not, or in the fingers, but it's not stiff. And you're breathing. There might even be a slight sway. Now we bring in the visual here. As you inhale, you visualize drawing the breath from the bottoms of your feet in through the legs, into the low belly, and then exhaling back out through the legs, back through the bottoms of the feet. Inhaling in from the feet to the belly, exhaling from the belly to the feet. And let's give this a color, this visualization a color. Let's bring in the color gold, kind of like a wheat gold. not a shiny metal gold, but a wheat gold. And as you inhale, draw that gold color through the legs, the heels, the knees, the hips, the belly. Exhale it from the belly, the knees, the heels. Inhaling, drawing it in to the belly, and exhaling it, sending it back out. And you'll notice, maybe side is better to see this, you'll notice that there is a natural or an organic pulse. As you inhale the gold in, you stand up a little taller. Exhale, you sit down a little more. It's very subtle. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Now let's get the legs the same, that subtle little pulse. Drawing in and back out. But let's raise the arms a little bit and pull the fingers back like you did before. And we're going to soften as we inhale. And then as you exhale, go ahead and push the hands out. So let's leave the legs alone and we'll just do the hands, the arms. Inhale, you draw back, relaxing the fingers. Exhale, push with the palms, center of the chest, elbows, wrists. Inhale and exhale. It's the same movement that maybe a jellyfish would use. Push out, and then you relax. And you push out, and then you relax. Now we're going to put this kind of watery sea creature, jellyfish tendril movement together with what we were doing with the legs. So as we inhale, the hands pull in and the legs get a little firmer. And then exhale, the hands extend out and the legs drop down. Let me show you from the side. So inhale, I'm pulling from the feet in. Exhale, I'm pushing out through the hands. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, heel, knee, hip, belly, chest. Exhale, chest, shoulder, elbow, wrist, hands. Inhale, knee, hip, belly, chest. Exhale, chest, shoulder, elbow, wrist, hands. Inhale, knee, hip, belly, chest. Exhale, chest, shoulder, elbow, hands. Inhale, knee, hip, belly, chest. Exhale, chest, shoulder, elbow, hands. This is called rippling, and it's a very slow pattern. And you do a much faster version of that in Tai Chi, which is what we're going to do next. But for now, let's just let the arms rest. Kind of shake it out if you need to. That's new. If you haven't been doing this for a while, it's a little odd. Okay. So now we're going to do that motion, but it'll be a little bit faster. And I'm going to turn diagonal so that you can hopefully see me a little better. So I'm going to start with the hands up on an imaginary surface. Yeah. And the legs are a little bit active. And as you inhale, this time we're going to inhale from the hands. So instead of the bottoms of the feet, the inhale comes in from the hands and then pushes back out, but the push comes from the heels. So it goes heel, knee, hip, push out, right? So inhale and then exhale, push out. And inhale, dragging back. Exhale, push back. And those fingers are still pulling out. Yeah. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So it's inhale from the fingers all the way down to the heels, and then exhale from the heels all the way back out through the fingers. So before we were just going heel and then out to the fingers, and then heel and out to the fingers, right? So now it's fingers, heel, heel, fingers. We're making a full loop this time. So here we go. Inhale, fingers, elbows, shoulders, hip, knee, heel, and then exhale, heel, knee, hip, shoulder, elbow, wrist, fingers. Inhale. It's hard to do and say. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. Now let's try this with a Taichi Stance. So I'll show you from, this is kind of nice because I have stripes on my rug here. So I'm going to bring one foot back, and it's offset from my other foot, right? I'm not in the same stripe. I'm offsetting my feet. And it's not a perfect square that I'm making. It's actually a rectangle. So my front leg is a little forward, further forward from my back leg. How do I say this? The rectangle is narrow, not wide, okay? All right, so here we are, and I'm gonna turn diagonal now for you. Here we are in this stance. I like to keep the toes of the back foot slightly angled away from my body, not completely, otherwise that hurts my knee, but just slightly turned in, okay? And then the weight in the front foot is typically on the heel. So let's start by bending that front knee and reaching the arms out. There we go. Inhale, the weight goes to the back heel, and then you push from the back heel and ripple out through the hands. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Do this a couple more times on this side. Last one. Exhale out, and then we'll let the arms rest, and let's switch to the other side. So once you turn your feet, you'll also have to step the feet wider apart. Okay? So we begin with the front knee bent, weight in the heel. I actually like to bend both knees just so that I don't lock my back knee. And then the arms reach out. So here we go. We're drawing from the fingers to the back heel, bend that back knee, and then we're pushing from the back heel forward through the hands. So it goes heel, knee, hip, spine, really, chest, and then out. Inhale, back into the heel. Exhale, heel to the hands. Inhale. Exhale. When we get the arms involved, we tend to forget the legs. So focus on the legs right away at the exhale, right at the beginning of the exhale. So hands pull back, and then exhale, heel, leg, then the arms. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more. Inhale and exhale. And then release and shake it out. And let's continue that shaking. So if you have some lymphedema that you're working with, then you will maybe raise the hands or skip the arm part of this. But shaking is a great way to release tension, release emotion, release energy, right? So it starts with just the hands, and you notice that it really works best if you relax the hands as much as you can. Relax the hands and then let the movement come from tension in the arm. Okay, so there you go. That's that hand wrist motion, okay? And then you get the rest of the arm involved. And then the shoulders. And for the shoulders, you have to kind of let go of the rest of the arm and go back and forth like an upright washer machine. And you'll notice it changes your breath. Kind of interesting. And then we get into the hips and the legs and the knees and the ankles. Don't let the feet lift off the ground, and see if you can get the ankles. Maybe you gotta lean to one side to kind of get that, and the other side. Okay, and then just pause and feel. So we're gonna do the shivering horse again. That's the name, but we'll go a little faster. So wrists, elbows, shoulders, hips, knees, ankles. Wrists, elbows, shoulders, hips, knees, ankles. Wrists, elbows, shoulders, hips, knees. Yeah, just like a horse shaking off a fly. And one more. Okay. And then take a breath in. And exhale, just let your hands float down in front of the body. And this is our cleansing. And that color gold comes into play again. We imagine we're drawing the gold up from the earth and then just pouring it over the body. And the first round, we pour over the front half of the body. Not only does it go over the skin, but it penetrates through the pores into the tissues at the front half of the body, the muscles, the organs. And then we do that again, but we pour it over the back half of the body, and we penetrate the organs, the tissues, maybe even the bones. And then once more, this time, right down the center, penetrating the organs, the bones, even the arms and legs. Good. And then pause and just notice how you feel. So we're now going to come into practice two kind of meditative practices. So these can both be done standing, but if you're feeling a bit tired, maybe this is a good time to bring in your chair and practice these using your chair. So, get my notes. So the first thing I want you to bring to mind is something that makes you smile. It could be the favorite pet, could be the laugh of a baby. It could be an activity that you do, a beloved, something that really brings up a lot of happiness. So now close your eyes and visualize whatever that thing is. And imagine that you could bottle it. Begin to pour it down your body, through your body. Let it bring with it a sense of relaxation and fun and ease. And now bring your focus to your feet, wherever your feet are resting. Visualize your feet starting to melt and merge with the surface beneath them, the floor, the earth. Visualize roots extending from the front and back of your feet, the left and right sides of your feet, and the bottoms of your feet. These roots extend deep into the earth. And just like roots of a tree, draw the earth's energy up through your roots, through your feet, your legs, your low belly. Inhale, pull that energy up. Exhale, send it back down. Inhale, that gold earth energy draws up into the low belly. Exhale, send it back down, back into the earth. Now, the next time you draw that golden energy up into the low belly, into the low dantian, store it there as you exhale. Don't send it back down. So inhale that golden earth energy up through the legs, into the low belly. Exhale, let that energy remain. Let it grow and glow brighter. Inhaling from the earth, through the feet, through the legs, into the low belly. Exhale, store that earth energy there. And pretty soon, the low belly becomes full, but you're still practicing drawing the energy up and storing. So it begins to spill into the upper dantian, through the organs, into the chest and arms, starting to grow and glow brighter there. Bright golden light shining into all the nooks and crannies on every exhale. Inhale, you're pulling it from the earth. Exhale, you're storing it. Low belly is full, upper chest is full, arms are full, head now starts to fill. Exhaling, glowing brighter. And pretty soon you have filled the internal body, and it begins to seep out through your pores. This golden earth light, earth energy begins to glow through the pores of your skin into the space around you. First, it just fills up the space an inch or so above your skin. And once that fills up, it grows beyond and extends into the space 2 feet from you, 3 feet from you. And notice that this space around you is now becoming thick. And it's extending beyond your body into the room that you're in. The whole room is beginning to fill up. The whole space. But you're still filling, still pulling that wonderful golden earth energy in and sending it into the space around you. Almost like you're a fish filling up your tank that you're swimming in. Now, anchor your feet and visualize your legs growing taller, taller, tall as the treetops. Your waist grows taller. The waist is now in the clouds. Your head is now looking out beyond the atmosphere into the space. Now open yourself up to this space and pull from everywhere around you into your core, into that golden earth energy that is at the very center of you. Pull that energy, that celestial energy, into your core until you can't hold it anymore. And then begin to pulse with your breath. Sipping the universe in as you inhale, and then sending it right back out as you exhale, radiating in all directions. Inhale, sipping the universe in. Exhale, sending it back out, even more radiant than before. Inhale, sipping the universe in. Exhale, radiating it back out. Maybe you find you can sip the whole universe in and send the whole universe back out. Or maybe that's a little beyond you today. So if that's the case, just sip a little in and send it back out. Brighter, better in every way. Just a few more breaths like that. And then begin to come back to your body. And begin to slowly open your eyes. Taking a pause, a moment, just to notice how you feel. And then we'll close. Take your left hand thumb, put it at the palm of your right hand, and just wrap the thumb with your right hand. And then wrap your fist with your left fingers. So what you see when you look at your hands is the yin-yang symbol. But what you see when you look at my hands, so the outward appearance, is like a handshake. Go ahead and bow. Thank you. Be well.